So artificial intelligence is about the automation of working with data to better understand the data and to drive efficiency in the processing of data. When we invest in artificial intelligence, we look at it really from two sides of the equation. On the supply side are the enabling technology vendors. These are companies like NVIDIA that sells the chips on which the learning of these big data sets is done. We own one of the FPGA companies that runs, their chips are used to run many of the models that are being generated on the learning side. We own the cloud computing companies. They're going to be aggregating the data and be helping with some of the learning about the data. And then we like the semi-cap equipment companies because artificial intelligence is inherently a scale-out technology. So we think that's going to require more fab capacity and more esoteric chips that are all scale-out chips. We also very much like the companies on the demand side. These are the companies that are using the technology for AI and machine learning from the supply side, and then combining it with some unique compounding data set that they only have. So companies like Google or Facebook are loaded with data, are going to be able to use AI and machine learning technology to learn from that data, refine their models, better serve customers based on the insights they get out of their data, then have more customer engagement, which will lead to more data and ultimately allow them to repeat the process. So ultimately, because of the data they have and the AI and machine learning technology, we think these businesses will become even harder to disrupt. On 5G, we look at 5G as really an evolutionary technology, very similar to 4G and 3G and 2G. Customers and on these transitions and service providers on these transitions are able to operate their networks more efficiently, get more bandwidth out of them, serve their customers with less spectrum. But ultimately, we view it as evolutionary. Now, we don't own the telecom equipment companies. We think those companies are lower quality businesses, but we do like some of the semiconductor companies that have exposure to the opportunity. We very much like the tower companies that are very high quality businesses that are exposed to the 5G opportunity. And then we like a company like VMware, which is going to help service providers transition their networks on the 5G transition from being very hardware-centric, less agile, to being much more software-centric and more agile. So the US and the Chinese technology sectors are largely independent of one another, we believe. China has done a fantastic job of building its own internet companies over the past 20 years. They've built their own networking and telecom equipment companies. They know how to build server storage and network infrastructure. They have access to open source software. So they're not very reliant on the US technology companies on those fronts. However, there are two areas in overlap. IT hardware, still a lot of manufacturing of hardware happens in China. We are starting to see some of the US technology companies seek to move some of their manufacturing capacity out of China to avoid tariffs. So countries that could benefit from that are Vietnam, Malaysia, India. But it's become very clear that the Chinese are heavily dependent on the US semiconductor companies. And here's where China is, we think, very far behind. But they're investing aggressively to catch up. Semiconductors and independence from US semiconductor companies is a key both economic and military objective for the Chinese. So they're buying semi-cap equipment from companies that we own. KLA, Applied Materials, Lam Research, all figure in very prominently to China's efforts to become independent of the US semiconductor companies. So we found ways to benefit by owning those businesses, even in the face of the increased uncertainty from the trade war.
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。